Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Junk to Jank podcast, where our tagline is, if you found it in the dollar bulk bin, it's probably worth it to go in your modern deck. This is Ryan, and I'm here today with Josh.
Hey guys, what's up?
So today we kind of wanted to talk about the banned and restricted updates that happened on Monday that made me cry so much that my daughter could swim in my river of tears.
Also me to a point, because my Arclight Phoenixes are now sitting in my binder crying.
Out of curiosity, how much do you think Arclight Phoenixes are worth right now?
Last time I checked, they were still worth $20.
Why?
They probably went down.
They're still $20.
They went down. So since the banning, they have gone down $2. Actually, $1.73. The card has went down since the banning.
So we kind of just wanted to take this cast to talk about what the bannings have done to the formats, and then we can even briefly talk about historic. I mean, there's not really much to
go on really yet.
Yeah, they haven't really said much. They've given a few pieces of info, but it's not nothing special.
Yeah, I know my article this week was all about the winners and losers of the format, but we're going to talk in a bit more depth about that. Most of what I wanted to say,
What are we the losers?
Well, I talked a lot about the winners, actually.
Are we the losers?
We're definitely the losers, though. You're not wrong there. We are definitely the losers.
Can I claim to be the bigger loser, seeing as I had
You have Expedition Mana Confluences, so yes.
Yeah, that my deck relied on?
Yes. You have Expedition Mana Confluences, which I can't claim to have Expedition Steam Vents for my deck, so you win on that one.
So, do you want to start with the format, least impacted to one of the most? Or, go in order from, new cards to old cards? That makes sense?
I think we should go standard, then vintage, then modern, because I feel like we'll have a lot more to talk about for modern than anything else.
Oh, we will, because I haven't even played any standard since the ban, because I haven't cared.
Yeah. All right, yeah, so standard, I know we have the least amount to say, because there's not really a whole bunch to say. They finally actually took Rampaging Ferocodon off the ban list on this update, which is, God, how many months overdue was that?
I mean, so Josh, before I even say my next sentence, what's the rating on this podcast, do you think? Language-wise, what am I allowed to say?
PG-13, I would say.
Okay, drop an F-bomb.
Sure.
Who the fuck cares? It was on the ban list for no goddamn reason.
I mean, for the last year, I'd say no goddamn reason, but since rotation last year, it hasn't been on the... before the last rotation, it was on there for a reason. Yeah, I don't know why that one's playing 2 hijack either. It doesn't make any sense.
So, right now I think is actually a good time to unban it, because it shakes up the format a little bit. It makes one of the most prevalent decks in Standard kind of useless.
It has... Well, I mean, there's a hate piece for it. It makes you play more interaction. This deck plays 5 pieces of interaction most of the time. The deck that we're speaking about, obviously, is the Bant Scapeshift deck that's currently hanging around Standard. It also kind of hoses 4-color Legends, just not in the same sort of way, but not but also Legends can also play around it by playing Planeswalkers.
Well, here's my question: how does it hit it out with Rampage and Ferocodon?
Because you can't actually play any creatures. It has to be you make your infinite mana, but how do you actually kill them?
Because your creature's already in play. Jack, shush. It's already in play. That's why.
Okay, so fuck that. So yeah.
Yeah, as someone who has played tons of 4-color Legends, the ways you win the game, you make infinite mana with looping your Mox Embers. For anyone who's not familiar with it, Kethis the Hidden Hand is kind of broken. You mix that with Diligent Excavator and 2 Mox Ambers, and you can make infinite mana and mill your deck, as long as you keep putting other Legends into your graveyard. The way you win is kind of weird. You either mill through your whole deck so you have a bunch of Legends in your graveyard, and then use them to recur Ashiok Dreamrender, and start pointing the mill targets at your opponent, and then just pass to them. The other way you do it is you actually just loop Oath of Kaya repeatedly. And the life gain half of it isn't actually relevant to Ferocodons, because you can just kill Ferocodons with the first one.
True. Yeah, so, more of the Bant Scapeshift deck. I know the 4-color Legends deck probably has a good matchup against this, since it literally is Sultai and can play on Mordiga the sideboard. Has main deck Ashiok to screw with the combo. to screw with the scape shift combo. So like, yeah, so if you've ever had a arena opponent cast scape shift with Ashiok on the battlefield, you know how much of a bad feel that is.
This deck, like, honestly, it popped up because it dumped on scape shift super hard. I've been playing it on arena, but I've made one small change where I started playing Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Sorry, wrong format with Mind Sculptor. Jace Wielder of Mysteries in my main deck because it makes the clicking a lot easier. You just deck yourself in the draw card.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. Like, what do you play it? What do you sub it out for?
I put it in place of, I think, 1 Teferi.
Like, you play 3 Teferis with 2 Ashioks, a Jason, 3 Tamios is basically what it is for you?
I think so.
Yeah,
no, wait, I took out one Lazav. Because Lazav's good.
Yeah,
and like...
Lazav's your worst enabler.
I mean, it's either that or Fiddlethip. The Fiddlethip draws cards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why I didn't take him out. But
Because funny thing is, when you try to hate out the graveyard by exiling their graveyard, if you have a Lazav in play and a Kethis in the graveyard, you just make Lazav a Kethis and keep going. The deck's kind of messed up. There's not a lot you can actually do against it once the combo's on the board at all. Like, it's very hard to interact with it.
I mean, once Josh and I are done with this, I'm literally going to bring him in the other room. We're going to go play some arena, and I'm going to show him how to combo people real hard and make people sad.
Yeah.
Sad pandas.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't really think it hates out on too many other decks in the format at the moment. Mono Blue Temple already has a really bad matchup against it, and I feel like Vampires probably has a bad matchup against it.
Mono Red for Vampires is actually pretty good. But the reason that it was good is what Frostodon's kind of...
It's because of Frostodon's other hidden text about the...
life gain.
Yeah, about the life gain.
That's what makes Vampires matchup with it a little iffy. Because Vampires actually, I think, has a good Mono Red matchup.
Doesn't Vampires actually, like, play main deck removal spells now?
Yes, but they've been playing Legion's End because of our good old friend Scape Shift.
Yeah, so they do have a couple of ways to answer in the main deck, but not a lot of ways.
It's sideboard where they really can, like, put in cast downs and stuff.
Yeah, like, they have Vona as well after sideboarding. Some have Vona in the main. I'm not sure how good... Ryan would be able to tell us a bit more if Vona's actually good in the main.
Vona's so good. Maybe Frostons makes Vona worse, but, like, having a threat that you put down and your mono red opponent looks at it and goes, I can't beat that. Because, like, you could put that in on turn 3, and your mono red opponent's going to stare at it and go, I don't know what to do.
At the worst, you can activate her to get rid of a Ferocodon, and then you gain 4 of the life back.
When you attack with it.
Yeah, you attack, activate after attacks before blocks, and the mono red's not really going to profitably block a 4/4 most of the time.
I mean, truth be told, though, the idea of paying 7 life against mono red sounds miserable.
It does sound miserable, but it's an option you have. I'm not saying it's a good option, but it is something you can do. You have some other life gain options in the meantime. Sorin also gains you some life if they don't play the Ferocodon on 3. You know, otherwise, this ban and restricting announcement doesn't really affect Standard at all.
Well, who cares about Standard right now?
Teferi is everywhere in Teferi is everywhere in the format. Jund Dinos is probably going to be a way better deck.
Right. Standard is such like a... No, I don't want to say boring because it's not, but it's just like... Who actually cares right now about it?
There's no tournaments. I think that's the reason why people are not really caring about it. If you're not Mythic on Arena, I don't really feel like you care about Standard that much at the moment. Yeah, you could play some like...
You play Jank and Standard, no one would care right now.
Yeah, the Reanimator decks with Razaketh that are actually really great.
Drakuseth or Razaketh?
Rakuseth? Drakuseth?
The 3 red and 4 dragon.
The 7/7 for 7 that like
deals 10 damage when it swings.
Yeah, deals 4 damage to any target and then 3 damage to each up to 2 other targets for some goddamn reason.
So those decks are fun to me because like they're literally control decks that just like get these cool lines.
Yeah, and then you just turn 5 Bond Revival Drakuseth out and you're good. You win the game at that point against most of the format.
So now I kind of want to talk about the restricted half of the banned and restricted announcement.
Yeah, with Vintage.
To start out, I do not play Vintage. I've dabbled a little bit. I played in paper once in a while, like very rarely.
I wonder why.
15 card proxy at the store.
Yeah. Actually, with Fast Bond being unbanned, which is one of the things we're going to talk about later, 15 cards. 15 card proxy isn't actually a bad way to play Vintage. Like, it's actually somewhat reasonable to do it with a Fast Bond deck right now.
Yeah.
Like, because almost everything that's on the banner, almost everything in Fast Bond that's expensive or on the reserve list is within 15 cards.
So I just kind of wanted to go to the restricted part of this. So we can talk about some of the cards that got restricted. Because the thing is, I'm not actually like wanting to talk about Fast Bond too much, besides the fact that I think it's cool. It opens up like things.
It opens up a red. It opens up a they added Grave Troll.
Was that in the last announcement?
That was in the announcement.
I missed that completely.
That was in the announcement.
I'm depressed. God, do they hate me? I wanted to talk about Karn because Karn's busted, but I just see Grave Troll on this list. I'm like, wait, what?
You didn't know?
No, I read the announcement. I didn't even notice it.
Oh no! Surprise mechanics, Ryan. Surprise mechanics.
What
I got
did you wrong?
Putting 6 cards in the graveyard for free is fucked.
I mean, you think? Yeah, there's not much to talk about. Mystic Forge deserved to be on this list. As did Karn. Like,
yeah,
if you deny that, you're lying to yourself.
People who actually play this format have been going on a rampage about Karn ever since Karn came out, and Mystic Forge being there as well just helps the deck. Helps Bomberman pretty much be the only deck in the format at the time.
Bomberman, or are you talking about Shops?
Well,
because Shops is busted as shit.
Well, Bomberman and Shops, they're like 60% the same cards. I mean, yeah, Tolarian Academy, yeah. Like, I get it, yeah.
Let me see, is there a Shops deck in here that we can at least look at it real quick? I don't think there is. I think it basically disappeared for now. Yeah. What in the world?
Does this have Show and Tell to put in Blightsteel Colossus?
No, that's what I'm trying to figure out, why they have a Blightsteel in this deck. For those wondering, we're literally looking at a deck trying to like just get some ideas and like know what we're talking about.
What does Dak Faden do in this deck?
Nothing. Draw cards? Okay, real talk. Dak is actually just a good card.
No, I know, but I'm like...
Hear me out. I want Dak Faden legal and modern.
I'm trying to... No, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to like look at this list and figure out like how you cast Blightsteel Colossus.
You have a bunch of boxes, a Black Lotus, and some lands. You're going to cast it.
You have Ren and 6. So you get you're guaranteed land. You're guaranteed to get all your lands. Yeah, you strip mine lock people. You probably win with that deck. It's a 5-color snow control deck from what we can see. You probably win that more often just by Ren and 6 locking people out of the game than not.
So real talk to the people. I feel like I could talk more about Legacy than I could about Vintage, but they didn't change anything with Legacy, which is odd.
Is it good? Because I don't feel like Legacy's in a bad spot at the moment, except for the whole... Like, I think people think Ren and 6 is too powerful at the moment. I feel like Wasteland has always been kind of a point that people talk about in the format. And in that... What the...
Sorry, I got Josh distracted by Tin Fins, because I just pulled up a Tin Fins list in Legacy.
Children of Coralus.
As someone who plays Legacy on Moto and like at the store sometimes, and like I had an on-camera match at the last Leaving Legacy Open. Yes, I'll take this chance to plug that.
Yeah,
because it was kind of great. I'll see if I can find the clip and set it up somehow. I don't know. It was great. Just watch it. I strongly think Ren and 6 is too good in Legacy. There are points where I think it's too good in Modern, but like in Modern, it's manageable.
I think the fact that Wasteland is legal in the format and the way that Wizards has been going with bannings recently makes me feel like if they're going to ban something, they're not going to ban a pillar of the format like Wasteland. They would ban the Enabler. They would ban... because Life of the Loaming Wasteland is one thing, but you guarantee get it back on a 2-mana Planeswalker every turn in the format where people basically don't play basics unless you're playing a monocolored deck or you're playing... what is it? There's some other deck that plays... Oh, Miracles. Miracles basically plays 1 or 2 Tundras in it. at most.
I mean, that's what I would have changed if I was doing the BNR update. I would have just banned Run and 6 to nip it in the ass and get rid of it. I still enjoy playing Legacy. It's a very fair format. Like, if you're just trying to play... Oh, by the way, Josh, what you were saying about Miracles, they literally started splashing green and red for Run and 6.
I'm not surprised.
Also, you can literally just Savine's Reclamation back into play.
I mean, also with snow-covered basics and Arkham's Astrolabe, that's also really easy.
Exactly. I just, that's what I would have changed. Yeah. I personally think Ren 6 is too good with Wasteland, when, 4-color Control, 4-color Delver is the best deck in the format.
Yeah.
That they had to... Just want to clarify this. They banned Deathrite Shaman because people were playing 4-color. Now we have Ren 6, and we're playing 4-color again. And it's okay?
To transition a little bit, do you think Arkham's Astrolabe is a problem?
In Legacy? No. Modern, maybe. Legacy, no.
Because you know what other format that Arkham's Astrolabe is a problem in?
Pauper.
Pauper. It is a problem. So you
I haven't actually looked at the Pauper deck list.
So going into Pauper, every deck is now playing Snow Basics in Arkham's Astrolabe now. Simply because it's better than whatever people were doing before. So literally, the best deck in the format right now is this Jeskai control deck that basically is Tron with just looking to win the game with Skyfisher, bouncing it, and Muldrifter. But now they get 4 colors because of Astrolabe and get to pretty much man, that's perfect now, especially in this deck.
I mean, they also should have Ash Barons and
I mean, yeah. So they get to do whatever they want.
So you know what my opinion on Astrolabe and Pauper is, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So hear me out. I understand they're different, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
If Ash Barons is fine, Astrolabe's fine. Mana is not a problem in a format like Pauper, where they're just trying to do cool things anyway. That's the format. You're playing commons. Nothing's really that powerful. You're just trying to do cool stuff.
Here's the problem that I have. Here's the problem that I have with Astrolabe over Ash Barons.
One draws a card?
Astrolabe 1 draws you a card to replace itself. 2, Ash Barons replaces itself with a basic land once and fixes you once. Astrolabe fixes you for the rest of the game.
This deck looks cool.
It just stays on the battlefield and fixes your mana for the rest of the game. So you basically get 4 of each basic, and you can play 5-color spell. You can basically almost play anything. It feels like you can play at least the thing with Pauper has always been two color decks have always been the thing in Pauper, simply because of the fact that it's not easy, that colors are not easy to come by in at common. You have the Gain lands and the Karoo lands as your duels in this format, and nothing else. Astrolabe lets you cheat that super hard.
I mean, here's just my alternative question: is it a bad thing? Because I don't think it is. The idea that the format itself is evolving.
I think the mana is too good. I think the mana is too good in the format right now.
With such all-stars as Peat Bog.
You also
Sandstone Needle.
You also, to be fair, you went down the list.
I was looking for something cool.
This is the last deck on MTG Goldfish for Pauper. You hit all. And
guess what? It's playing Cathartic Reunion, Lightning Axe, and Faithless Swimming. Therefore, it's got to be good. Those are very good cards in Modern. Hell, one's banned.
It's Reanimator.
Yeah, one's banned in Modern, Josh. You got a problem with that?
I do actually have a problem with Faithless Swimming being banned in Modern. So if you want a tradition to Modern,
that's what I was doing.
Segues.
There you go. Did it. So, can I start us off talking about Modern real quick?
I mean, we are talking about Modern now.
Yeah, but can I?
Yes.
Okay. So... this is a conversation I heard many times at F&M on Friday, and I'm standing by this statement because I very much agree with it. And for all of you people out there who don't, I don't care.
Okay. Ryan's drawing the line in the sand.
Ancient Stirrings should have been banned with Faithless Looting. If you're telling me it shouldn't have, you're wrong. What happened is you banned Faithless Looting, so you banned the best cantrip in the format. I'm quoting that because it is card selection, not card advantage like cantrips are.
Yeah.
and you're keeping an actual cantrip that actually puts cards in your hand and is card advantage. Okay, it's limited. Alright, well, the deck that needs it the most, being Green Tron, is already good enough. Now it's basically the best deck in the format because, oh no, we decided to leave Ancient Stirrings legal. Who needs that? Tron doesn't need it. Tron can play without. Hardened Scales can play without. The decks that are playing it don't need it.
They play it because it reduces it increases the consistency of the deck super hard.
The only deck I think that needs it, per se, is Amulet Titan. And even that's a stretch.
I'm not sure about Amulet needing it.
It's a stretch. It's just like...
Yeah, like a bunch of the spells that they want to actually play are green, but they do, they want to see their lands anyway. They're a 29 land deck most of the time. They're anywhere, and Amulet of Vigor is colorless too, but like, I don't know. Like, I don't think, like, I don't know. I agree with you that Ancient Stirrings is now the best cantrip in the format, and not having and like this has been a problem for a while, and doesn't just go back to whatchamacallit, to Faithless Looting, because the best cantrip in the format has not been blue for a while. The best cantrip in the format hasn't been blue since Ponder and Preordain have been banned.
And, like, that's fine. Blue doesn't need to have the best cantrip in the format. But, like, the idea that Wizards of the Coast saw it and said, oh, well, red can't have it. Why can green have it? Hell, let's have a black cantrip at this point.
I mean, there are black cantrips. They just cost 2 mana.
A 1 mana good black cantrip. Give me that.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get it.
Give me Thought Scour in black.
That's a hot take. That is the hottest of takes.
Yeah, my take's so hot my oven's burning.
Yeah. Well, the good news about the Faithless Looting banning is fair stuff gets way better.
Is there any good news about that?
I mean, Jun's better, and...
Jun didn't need to be better. That deck was already really good.
I mean,
that deck laughed at Hogak, I want to point out.
I mean, basically, we get to play a limited archetype in Modern Horizons in Modern now.
You're using this as a segue to that.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I mean, we don't have to talk about it yet, but...
I mean, you can. Go for it. I'm here. I'm along for the ride. I'm just...
You're like, oh, God.
We're talking about this pile when we could talk about our cool deck.
I mean, we can talk about this first. we can transition into Stoneforge Mystics unbanning first and go into some couple of Stoneforge Mystic decks first.
I mean, I'm shocked that deck doesn't play Stoneforge.
It doesn't. Why would we flicker Stoneforge Mystic?
Because you can go grab another one.
Yeah, and
if you play 3 equipments, you can get all 3 and then just do it. It's not the worst.
So here's the thing about being Soul Herder with Stoneforge Mystic, like the problem that I have with it is, yeah, I know Batterskull, get him. Hard thing is like trying to ephemerate Stoneforge Mystic and I don't know.
I mean, I'm not saying you always ephemerate the Stoneforge. I'm just saying, like, you flicker it once or twice and you already have infinite value.
Like, I get it. Like, I think it's something that people will try. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. But, I'm sure people will try it eventually. Ryan's going to look to see if anybody's tried Soul Herder with...
Oh, no, I'm looking at the standings because I was going to give a report on the deck we were just looking at.
Yeah, because...
Allie Warfield... There she got a deck check.
Yeah, Allie got a deck check on... Allie Warfield got a deck check yesterday on it. So we're checking... So we're basically checking to see if Allison Warfield, who's playing Selesnya Eldrazi, is doing in the tournament, because, like, she is... 4, 5, 6, she's X and 3.
8, 9, 10, 11. So she wins the last round, she should be in top 8.
She's X and 3.
She could be in top 8.
Could
be. I hope she is.
She has a chance at X and 3.
I hope she's in top 8. Like, this deck is so cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, she's playing a deck called Green White Eldrazi, where it's literally like the banned Eldrazi decks of the days of the past, but like the only colored Eldrazi is Eldrazi Displacer, and then it's like Noble Hierarch, Ancient Stirrings, there's another one right there, Path to Exile, Stoneforge Mystic, and then they have Karn the Great Creator. And so, like, it's a card deck where you get to do the Lattice Lock and stuff like that. But it also has these cool things where you get, like, Talisman of Unity, Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Fire and Ice, and Batterskull with your Stoneforge, and, like, just get to, like, slap a sword on a Reality Smasher.
I like this deck because you have multiple plans.
I like that you just get to donkey punch people with a Reality Smasher.
I like this. Well, yeah, I like that too. But you have multiple plans. You have multiple plans here. Stoneforge Mystic doesn't work out. You have Thought Seer and Reality Smasher. You know, you can displace. You can always displace Stoneforge Mystic to do what we were talking about before with Flickering Stoneforge Mystic to get your other equipment. Is there any equipment in the sideboard of this particular deck that we're looking at?
A Batterskull.
There is another Batterskull you can get.
Which you can go Karn.
Which you can Karn and then immediately put into play with Stoneforge Mystic, and that seems kind of sick. But, and also, another thing we should also talk about with Stoneforge Mystic's unbanning, Karn gets way better. People randomly just trying to play Stoneforge Mystic can get dumpstered by Karn the Great Creator because he's just a Stony Silence.
Why is James crying? Because he just got dunked on?
Yeah, no kidding. So once you put the Batterskull into play with a Karn on the other side of the board, get fucked, because if that 4/4 doesn't get there, that thing's doing nada.
Let's look at that. What else can we do change into Modern? Oh yeah, Hogek's dead.
Yeah, that's obvious. Like, it needed to be gone.
Woo!
Wait, oh my god, is Bogles playing Force of Negation? Oh my god, that makes Bant Bogles with Force of Negation. That makes insane amounts of sense.
Oh yeah, Invisible Stalker, baby.
Yeah, I don't actually mind Invisible Stalker as your 2-drop hexproof guy. I really think Bogle should have 8 1-drop hexproof guys, but yeah, Curious Obsession seems a bit lax, honest. Shimmering Wing seems great because
Cartouche of Knowledge.
I mean, if there's one thing about Modern, flying's not super a common keyword in Modern.
So what Josh and I kind of wanted to do with this discussion of Modern and where it is, kind of like talk about what we've been doing, because both of us really got hated out by this stupid ban.
Rest in peace, Arclight Phoenix.
Dredge. The Dredge actually has some life right now.
Yeah. So why don't we do that first? Why don't you talk about
your
deck?
I have like a little journey I'm gonna take them on real quick.
Yeah. So talk about Dredge first.
So, Faithless Looting ban happens. I try a Thought Scour build of Dredge. It goes very bad. Get very sad. So then, my week goes, I played a Sultai Vengevine deck that Josh sent me from Catlight, I think on Twitter or something like that.
Catlight didn't post it. She liked it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So I saw it and was like, oh, this seems interesting. I know Ryan's sad due to the banning of Faithless Looting. Let's send this to Ryan as another thing you can test.
I tried it, 2-3 league with it. Felt it was very good. It was very fair, but like on the good way. Then I played a league with Dead Guy L. Again, felt fine. I've rebuilt Grixis Shadow and Paper because I think that deck's extremely well positioned right now.
Kolaghan's Command seems like a hell of a drug right now.
Oh, it is a hell of a drug.
Especially with everybody trying to play Stoneforge Mystic and put their Batterskull and fluke their Batterskulls into play.
And then, excuse me, before I get to the actual life of Dredge, I'm going to tell you guys about a quick meme that I dredged up from one of the past standard formats, one of my favorite standard formats. There was an old Emerge deck where it was like you played things like Advanced Stitchwing and Haunted Dead, pitched your prize amalgams to it so they'd come back on your opponent's second main phase, and then you'd untap on their upkeep, you'd Elder Deep Fiend them and tap all their lands. So I built it in Modern and I cashed a league with it. Deck's funny. It's great. I don't know what else to say. But, so then I got sent a list from Josh about Dredge, and it was like a weird list. Instead of Faithless Looting, obviously, because it was banned, it was playing a card called Tomb Scour, which is 1 blue mana. Target player mills 5 cards.
That's it.
That's just it. The reason it's good is, have you ever wanted to be a Dredge player and start the game by going, I'm going to pay 1 mana and just Stinkweed Imp Dredge myself?
Yeah.
It's kind of great, and it sets up your graveyard just right, and it gets you just the right amount of beginnings in the deck just to actually get going. Because that's one of the problems that Dredge had sometimes was like the start. And it makes it a lot easier. And, like, I was actually just running roughshod on people with it. It was really good.
So you think Tome Scour is the future of Dredge?
For now. Until someone tells me why it's bad.
I mean, there's nothing really better. Like, Cathartic Reunion still becomes a House of A Dredge option.
Well, I mean, that's why I was trying to do the all-in build where I did, like, Simian Spirit Guides and tried to turn one reunions.
Yeah, but the problem is you were also trying another enabler that didn't work, which was what's the other one that you were trying that does the same thing but one less card?
Oh, I haven't actually tried that yet.
You haven't tried Tormenting Voice as in there as well?
Not yet. No, it's in the all-in deck. I have not actually tried the all-in build. That's the problem. I just haven't tried it.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it could be great. I don't know. I haven't tried it.
All right, but yeah, I mean, getting, I like the in theory, I like the idea of Thought Scour, because if there's a Golgari Thug or a Stinkweed Imp in the top 2 cards of your deck when you start the game, or a Life from the Loam, you get to just dredge immediately on turn 1, which seems really good. But Tome Scour seems like a good place to go, because at the very least, that's 5 cards in the bin. It's not good. It's not good post board. I don't think it's good post board ever, but it's better than nothing, at least in game 1. Right?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I've been very good about it. I've actually been, like, when I'm sideboarding, I end up cutting Shriekhorn because I hate that card.
I mean, Shriekhorn has always been in Dredge, but now it's a 4 of in most decks that have cashed anything right
bad.
now. Yeah, like, I mean, it's there because you have no other options in the 1-drop slot, basically, right?
I mean, yeah, like, there's, like, you could do Insolent Neonate, and everyone's like, oh, you should be playing Insolent Neonate. It's like, no, that card's not actually good.
I mean, it's which one are you more likely to have between Thought Scour and Insolent Neonate? Are you more likely to have a Dredger? And I'm asking you this question because I don't know. Are you more likely to have a Dredger in your opening hand, or more likely to have it on the top 2 cards of your deck?
Yes. You have, like, an equal chance of all of the above. That's why I'm saying yes, because it's not... Dredge is such a high variance deck, you can't actually just give that kind of an answer, because it doesn't exist, if that makes sense. Like, you play so many Dredgers, you have a chance of, like, probably just drawing them. Like, we play 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 Dredgers. Yeah. Which seems low, but, like, it's actually a lot. One critique I did have about this list that I haven't changed yet, there needs to be a Dockmore Salvage. There needs to be.
As just an 11th emergency Dredger?
For your Bloodghast.
Yeah.
I had a point last night where whenever I was playing, I don't remember what night it was. The literal situation that came down to was, I'm sitting there, I have 3 Bloodghasts in my graveyard, no green mana, so I can't cast Life in the Loam.
Yeah.
And I never want to take a draw. But, like, I'm now just dredging for an Archibib as I'm Creeping Chills, and I got there, but it's not, like, a situation you want to be in.
At least in that chance, you would have a land to dredge out, so you can at least go... Here's this land, so at least my Bloodghast can come back again.
Right, and that's about it. It's like all I want it for.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. So do you want to talk a little bit more about Shadow as to why that's good?
I mean,
and why you moved there for now, or
Grixis Shadow has always been a good deck. I mean, like that's like the blunt point of it.
Yeah, it's
a deck full of just very reasonable to good cards.
Yeah.
One all-star of the deck that I've been very hard on and like don't actually even like in the deck, but I think it's a great card. Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of lists make a 1 or 2 of a Dreadhorde Arcanist lately. Almost like, was people playing with 4 Snapcasters before?
A lot of them have always been on 3.
Yeah, then
because like it's just such a weird thing. Like you'd think as if you were looking from the outside in at the deck, you'd be like, oh yeah, why aren't you just playing the 4 Snapcaster? Besides the fact that Snapcaster is dumb expensive.
You don't always have 3 mana in that deck,
right?
Too. You have how many lands that actually stay on the battlefield? Like 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, and you have 9 fetch lands? 8 fetch lands?
9.
Yeah. So, like, plus, like, Shadow wants fetch lands more often than not because you want to deal that extra. You want to deal 3. Yeah, you want to just be going like full Linkin Park on yourself.
I'm crawling in my skin.
Yeah. So, yeah. So, Shadow is what I would call probably the most unfair fair deck of the form of any modern format.
Thanks for quote tweeting me, friend.
I mean,
I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, that's why I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you with that. That's why I said it.
I've been saying that since Brad Nelson freaking picked the deck up and was like, "Look at this deck."
Because it's true. It was the best deck in the format a couple years ago for a good reason. Yeah, it's a fast clock. It can just kill people on turn 4 or turn 3 sometimes on like a god draw, and has disruption, has hand attack and counter spells in it for the combo matchups. The only thing it dies to is Tron sometimes, right? If you don't elves is...
go wide. Like if it's a go wide deck, Tron's actually, believe it or not, Tron's a good matchup.
Because you just kill them before they set up.
No, you just strip them.
You just
Thoughtseize, Stub, Ceremonious Rejection, like all the above. You shred their hand before it matters.
Yeah, you just disrupt them before it matters, and you pray it's good enough. And most of the time it is, because if you have a Death Shadow on the board, there's very little they can't interact with Team or Battle Rage inside of combat pretty much ever.
You know our good friend Lewis?
Yes.
I played him in a tournament when I was playing Shadow.
Yeah.
I played him and Matt Fastman back to back.
Oh no.
And this was when KCI was legal.
Yeah.
And so Matt sits down, he's playing KCI, and he's like, "Yep, cast KCI." You go, "Stub it." Okay. Scrap Trawler, bolt it. I literally just played through everything Matt did. Fast forward to my match with Lewis. And I'm sitting down, I'm like, it's Tron. He's just going to do Tron things. I'm just going to die. He didn't. Ceremonious Rejection out of the sideboard is such a big deal.
Yeah.
And being able to snap it back.
Yeah. Also, I know most decks play Surgical on the sideboard. That doesn't do anything, basically. You do it to get rid of their threats, maybe, but... If
we were playing Fulminator Mage in the sideboard, which some people still are, I'm not. Probably should be, but... If you're playing Fulminator Mage, then you can bring in the Surgicals and just be like, yep, Fulminator it, and then Surgical it. That's fine. But, I mean, I'm a bigger fan of just, counter spells and a little bit of disruption and just, basically be a thorn in their side long enough that you can win the game.
Would you ever think it's a good idea to bring in Surgical to get rid of the threats that are harder for you to answer?
Maybe.
Against Tron.
I could see, Thoughtseizing away a Worm Coil and then Surgicaling it. Yeah.
Any other threat is too... their creature threats... I feel like their creature threats are worse for you. Worse for...
Worm Coil is literally the hardest one.
Yeah, because,
Because obviously, if they play an Ulamog, you're not winning anyway.
Yeah.
That just doesn't matter.
Yeah, but, to be Worm Coil, you need K command into push, or K command... Yeah, because you need
K command push.
Yeah, you need a K command push bolt.
Yeah,
or something.
You literally need 3 removal spells, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah, and lifelink, the lifelink one you can deal with. I feel like a bit easier, but the Death Touch worm, I feel like it is really hard to deal with.
But Grixis Shadow, I think, is a good place to be. There are other Shadow variants you can be playing.
Yeah,
but Grixis has this one card that if your opponent plays a Stoneforge Mystic and then puts a Batterskull into play, you laugh at.
Yeah,
it reads the lines: deal 2 damage to target creature or player and destroy target artifact.
Yeah, it's cool against command.
And on top of it, it regrows a shadow if you really wanted to.
There's a reason why most lists right now are playing 2 of them, even though it's a 3 mana spell that you can never cast for less than 3 mana. If there's one thing, Shadow has a hard time casting spells over 1 or 2 mana, and Kolaghan's Command is so worth it right now that maybe you see one in the sideboard in some metas, but Stoneforge Mystic is here. People are putting Batterskull into play. You're gonna want to.
I mean, real talk, I've been wanting to build a 4-color Shadow list that's all but green, so I can play Stoneforge Mystic with my Death Shadows and Dreadhorde Arcanist, so I can flashback K commands for free.
But would that be the only list that you would not play Batterskull in?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would play 3 swords over a Batterskull.
You cannot play that's the one list you cannot play a Batterskull in. I don't think there's any variant of any sort of Shadow deck with Stoneforge Mystic you could ever play a sword in and for it to be a good idea.
The problem is that Batterskull is such a good card. We can't ever discount that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Batterskull isn't a bad card in any way.
I'm just that's the argument is Batterskull is very good. Would you play that even though it's a non-bow with your Shadow? there's a world where, like, I say yes. Like, cause
At least a Batterskull on the sideboard, maybe.
Well,
like
if I have a Batterskull in play, the game's over. Like, I have a Batterskull in play hitting people. Like, I don't need Death Shadow.
I mean, you have other threats in Shadow too.
You ever strapped a Gurmag Angler up with a Batterskull?
That sounds insane. Just like setting up a Reality Smasher with a Batterskull seems absolutely nutso. 9/9 triple haste keyword soup.
Flample haste. Yeah.
Flample haste.
So Josh, what have you been working on while I've been over here doing Shadow BS?
I've been working on a couple of different decks. Our first theory was to, hey, what if... So let me start off by what I was working on before the ban, because I feel like that's important. I was a dirty Is It Phoenix player. I was flooping 6 power into play on turn 2 like a degenerate. With Thing in the Ice is an amazing card, and I love it so much. I was very sad when Faithless Looting got banned, because now we lose our best enabler for Arclight Phoenix ever. Yeah, boom. Yeah, exactly. Like, boom, here's all of my power. First,
Turbo Pigeon was real powerful, wasn't it?
Turbo Pigeon is insanely powerful. Too bad that I'll never get to play it in Legacy with Buried Alive, because...
I just love that nickname.
Yeah.
Turbo Pigeon.
Turbo Pigeon's great. The first thing that me and Ryan tried was a Is It Spells variant that tries to be somewhere in between Gift Storm and Twiddle Storm. So it's between where Is It Phoenix was before and somewhere in between that and Gifts and Twiddle, by maximizing on Aria Flame and Pyromancer's Ascension along with Thing in the Ice as our 3 main win conditions in the main deck, and then just a bunch of cantrips, and literally you play just the rest of Phoenix with an additional blue cantrip now that Faithless Looting is banned. So you play all 4 ops, all 4 Serum Visions, all 4 Sleight of Hands, and all 4 Thought Scours, and just go super hard on those 12 enchantments on winning you the game. So don't know if that's good yet. And I think it's very soft in a lot of areas, but I think like it may have legs, but that's the kind of a build that needs a lot of testing, because while Thing in the Ice was very, very good, the format's getting insanely fair, and I'm especially with Jund and other Thoughtseize decks are coming back super hard right now. I have a feeling combo decks like that are in a really weird spot. So I feel like maybe that's not where you want to be. I've also been working on Gift Storm again, since I still have absolutely everything for that deck. I'm confident on the base level lines, basically, with Storm. And I have been confident on the base level lines since I built the deck. I'm not confident in playing through Disruption yet, but, I'm sure that comes with time. I'm not sure actually how Gift Storm actually is in this meta. I feel like Twiddle Storm may be a bit better with everything, with all the other fair decks coming out of the format. It's really hard for fair decks to interact with a hexproof land.
I forgot it has hexproof.
Yeah. Lotus Field has hexproof for some goddamn reason. Yeah, Lotus Field has hexproof, so you just kill people on turn 3. But there's 2 problems with that over Gift Storm. I feel like the non-deterministic win is huge. Gift Storm, once you get to a certain point, it is a very deterministic win. You get to a point where you've casted your gifts, you have Past in Flames, and you cast Past in Flames. If they are not doing anything about that at that point, then your win is pretty deterministic. Force of Negation is a big deal as well. Which is why I feel like Past in Flames is probably hard to justify at the moment.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like the 2 Storm decks are drastically different and have different, advantages and disadvantages. Gift Storm is more deterministic, and I feel like it's actually all around an easy deck to play. And I'm not going to take credit away from people who are, Storm Masters who, know what they're doing, but...
Yeah.
I have played my fair share of Gift Storm, and I stare at the deck, and from just a baseline, if I stare at the deck or at the field, I can just go, yeah, you cast Gift and Given, grab these cards, and start going. That's just like kind of how the deck works.
Yeah.
Twiddle Storm is a lot harder because it's very not deterministic ever. Like, unlike other Storm decks where, like, you're tutoring or casting rituals just to make mana and keep going and keep casting spells, Twiddle Storm's literal variant is, like, you need to cast a Twiddle effect, make 3 mana, cast a draw spell, maybe splice a Twiddle effect onto your draw spell. You literally just need to keep drawing cards until the point where you can cast Past in Flames and, like, find a Grape Shot.
Yeah, like, it's not deterministic whatsoever. It plays no, the only hard tutor it plays is Merchant Scroll, which cannot get your Storm targets.
Right. It's just, I don't know. It's weird.
What
have you done since that garbage?
Yeah, so let's stop talking about me being unfair, and start talking about me being fair. Because for now, we're moving on to the fair side of Modern, a side of Modern I have not been to for a goddamn while, since I was playing, yeah, you're Mardu.
This is what you're playing, right?
No, I'm not playing Mardu Legends.
What?
Yeah, that's...
I'll tell the story at the end of the podcast. Just keep going.
What I'm trying is, as I mentioned earlier, playing a limited archetype from Modern Horizons draft. There is this card called Soul Herder, which allows you to pretty much... It's probably the best blink effect that has ever been introduced in the Modern, because you get it on every end step for free. So I used to want to play... back in the day, I'm not going to name the person who first thought of the deck, because... quite frankly, fuck him. But there used to be this value deck that was yeah.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so we're not naming names, but
no, but I will go on Twitch and see if he's streaming right now.
He probably is streaming because he's a piece of garbage that somehow people still like for some reason. Yeah.
Fun fact, I keep forgetting to unfollow him. He's still on my followed list.
Why do you not unfollow him? He's a piece of garbage.
Because he still has some cool decks that I like to play sometimes. It's literally, I don't ever watch them. I can't tell you the last time I actually watched the stream.
Yeah, but anyway, back in the day, he came up with this deck that was literally Greenlight Value Town. Just play Collected Company with a bunch of...
We're not naming names, we'll name the exact deck that determines who it actually is.
Yeah, but who cares? Because other people have also worked on the deck. It used to be super fair. Would only play Path to Exile as removal and would want to basically win the game with Night of the Reliquary and Tireless Tracker. What this new deck is doing is something fairly similar, but at a way different angle. So it's called Bant Soul Herder. I feel like it does a lot of. You may be going too far back, honestly.
Oh no, I'm looking for a different deck. Keep going.
What Bant Soul Herder's goal is to blink your own creatures to the point where your Soul Herders are huge and then like murder people. So your value, and some people don't play Noble Hierarch, but I feel like not playing Noble Hierarch is a mistake. Well, you have a lot of 3-drops. You want to accelerate out to those 3-drops and be able to double spell as much as quick as humanly possible. Soul Herder really makes that possible and way easier. You play Coiling Oracle and Wall of Roots. You could even play Wall of Omens if you wanted to mess with your if you wanted to mess with your color variant a bit more. But my version plays Wall of Roots simply because I'm a bit more green focused. And also, I'm playing a bunch of basic snowlands, so you can play Icefang Coatl, which helps with a problem that Flicker decks in Modern have had for forever, which is flyers. Flyers are a problem, and they have always been a problem. I have even seen some versions of Soul Herder playing Birds of Paradise over Noble Hierarch, just for the fact of having a flying threat. Or a flying blocker at the very least. You don't immediately just die if your opponent has a flyer. I feel like Soul Herder's sweet. You get a free blink effect. Your daughter's adorable.
Thanks.
Sorry, you get a free blink effect at the beginning of your end step every turn. play Thragtusk in your main deck with your Soul Herder deck. You play two. You play two in your Bant Displacer deck, but you're also playing Eldrazi Displacer in your version.
I mean, this is literally just Bant Soul Herder, but I'm shoved. It's like a deck I built a long time ago before Soul Herder existed. And Soul Herder and Ephemerate are the only cards I added from the new set. But it was a Displacer deck where I just flickered things for value.
Ephemerate is insane.
Yes.
Ephemerate is a nuts spell because it's double flicker for 1 mana. Yep. And you can buy that back with Eternal Witness,
which I'm not playing,
and which I feel like, I mean, Eternal Witness is insane. Like, we played some test games earlier.
I agree.
We played some test games earlier where my only removal is Path to Exile, and I got infinite access to my removal through just having Ephemerate with, like, I even went Ephemerate Ephemerate my Eternal Witness, grab this path past your dork. Go in my end step, Ephemerate it again, pick up the same Path to Exile. I have another removal spell for your next threat, and I think it's nuts. I think if the meta is going to be as fair as it currently is, this is a good place to be. I think maybe Reflector Mage is a great place to be in that deck. However, I'm not sure how it actually does against Stoneforge Mystic is the only problem that I've had. Deputy of Detention and Knight of Autumn may be options in the main deck you may want to think about if Stoneforge Mystic is insane in your meta. Playing a Knight of Autumn, destroying their Batterskull, and then flickering it to make a 4/3 threat that you can swing with the next turn is nuts. Also, having it main deck against Burn is insane because just gaining the 4 life and having Knight of Autumn being a 3-mana lone missionary is good enough against Burn sometimes.
Why aren't you main decking Knight of Autumn?
I keep messing with it.
Okay, you should.
Well, I also have Thragtusk main. I keep messing with my numbers. I don't know if... I think Deputy Detention is wrong in the main deck now. After playing with it last night, I think it eats too much. It eats too much removal. And, you know, Planeswalkers are a bit of a problem. I'm sure the blue-white matchup's not great. But
it should be fine. You outfare them.
I mean, you outvalue them, but, like, you know, Supreme Verdict, like, fucks you super hard. But also, we play Venser Shaper Savant to help with that, too. Because you know what Can't Be Countered doesn't fix, Ryan? Bouncing the spell.
You know what else doesn't matter?
Bouncing their lands. Yeah, and then...
That's the only reason I built the Bant Displacer deck, so I could just flicker people's lands back to their end.
Yeah, so keep that in mind for anybody looking to play Bant Soul Herder. If you have a Venser, get them dead with just bouncing their lands, and they're so far behind at that point that they can't do anything.
Bounce their lands in their hand until they have to start discarding.
Yeah, also...
or you can just play Owling Mine.
Yeah, or you can play Owling Mine, yeah. Also, the main deck that some people have been working on, Gabriel Nassif was working on this list for a while. He was playing 2 main deck Time Warps and a Jace. I don't believe Jace is that good in that deck, and maybe the deck wants to play 5-mana Teferi if it wants a main deck Planeswalker. I'm toying with the idea of just removing the main deck Planeswalker.
That's where it should be.
I think so.
If you want to play main deck Planeswalker, I think you should play 3-mana Creature Nissa.
3-mana Voices Zendikar?
No. Vastwood Seer.
You mean Vastwood? Oh, you mean Origins Nissa.
Yeah, Creature Nissa is what I said.
Because you blink her and get lands to your hand, and then she flips over.
When you hit 7 lands, which you will, because you're going to be ramping, you'll be able to flip her, and she still ramps you and draws you cards. She makes a 4/4, and if you alter, you make 6/6s.
I mean, to be fair, her uptick is literally just
Coiling
Oracle.
Which is why I think
additional copies of Coiling Oracle.
I think that's why you should play her. I think she's really good.
I'm gonna mess with it. Actually, that seems great. So that may be something I want to try.
Another option, and I'm not so sold on this one, but you could mess with JVP. I don't think that one's as good. I think Nissa. This is a home for Nissa though.
Because you want more lands anyway.
Right.
I feel like that might be something I want to try out because you want as many snow basics in play as possible anyway, because you want your Icefang Coatls to have Death Touch as fast as humanly possible. Coiling Oracle really helps with that too, because like getting a fetch land off the top of your library with Coiling Oracle is dirty because you get the fetch land. You get any land that you get off the top of your deck untapped. Like, that's insane. I think it's insane. Yeah, I might get the From the Vault Transform set one because it's super dirt cheap.
Yeah, the only downside is it's foil.
I don't care. It's the best thing.
I mean, I also have one probably upstairs in my collection somewhere. If you need it.
I might just borrow it from you until I can get the transformed one. But the fact that it would need I'm not so worried about the foiling on it because it's a flip card, and I'm going to be playing the checklist card anyway. Because I was doing that with Thing in the Ice for when I was playing Phoenix because I had a real problem and actually damaged one of my Thing in the Ices by the amount of times I was flipping it over in the sleeve. God. So I don't want that I didn't want that to happen with my other Thing in the Ices. Given the version that I had, the one that I had that was damaged was already previously damaged because I did buy it played, but I just damaged it more, and I don't want that to continue to be a thing. Banned Soul Herder is probably great. Its combo matchup's probably bad. Its strong matchup's probably bad, but I feel like the combo matchup can be fixed up in the sideboard with such options as Damping Sphere, Grafdigger's Cage. Yeah, like Damping Sphere is I feel like Damping Sphere is a catch-all for anything that that deck's bad against, honestly. Yeah. Like, you want to play at sorcery speed anyway. You rarely double spell when you rarely double spell, and you are a ramp deck in a way, so you get a lot of mana anyway. So I don't feel like it's the worst option in the world. Anyway, that's pretty much our roundup of Modern for now.
I guess to end the podcast, I can talk about what Mardu Legends is and why it exists, and then we can end it.
Yeah. So I feel like this should be a Ryan May special at the end of every podcast.
Oh God. So I had this idea with my friends where I was like, "Hey, give me 3 cards or 2 cards."
It's 3. I think it's
2.
I think it's 2.
Cards.
Yeah.
It was give me 2 cards to build a deck around, and I have to play them as 4 ofs. I'll build a deck list, and I'll send you it to critique. So my friend Tyrell, love him to death, gave me the worst batch of them I could have ever asked for. And I know what's going to happen. You guys are going to give me even worse ones if you see, in the comments. I'm not asking for them. Do not give me them. This was that bad.
He will specifically ask for them on a podcast episode if we want that. Well, we might do that in the future, but
I mean, that could be a sick podcast.
That would be a sick podcast episode, yeah, but not right now.
So, play this. It was so bad that Tyrell had to give me permission to play one of them as a 2 of.
Oh no! Wait, what was the 2 of?
Okay, so he told me he wanted me to play Arvad the Cursed, 5 mana 3/3 Death Touch Lifelink. Other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. Mind you, this is a modern deck. Let me preface that. And Shinka the Blood-Soaked Keep.
Oh Lord. I'm surprised Mox Chamber wasn't introduced in this at all.
Which is a mono red legendary land that I can pay 1 in a red. A red and tap to give target legendary creature first strike until end of turn, or it makes a red mana.
That seems so bad.
I know.
Yeah,
that's why this deck sucked.
Yeah, this list that I'm looking at with you already has a first strike creature.
There's 2.
Honestly, Judas seems really good in this deck. So having Camball main also seems great.
It's mono 3 drops.
Yeah, the rest of the deck. The rest of the deck, I'm like, oh my god, this is a goddamn pile. But
you not see the 3-drop slot?
I do. That is an insane 3-drop slot for Modern.
Tajik Legion's Edge.
Tajik's actually great, but I don't feel it. I feel like his place is in Standard because there are damage-based removal spell of choice is Lightning Bolt in this format, and that's it. Standard tends to have more damage-based removal. Tajik just dies to a path always. I mean, any creature dies to a path, really. But main thing is he dies to a Revolted Push. He dies to a Dismember. He dies to a million things. And he also doesn't prevent... He's not like Shalai, for instance, where Shalai just has to be dealt with before anything can be killed.
No, but if you have it with Shalai, everything's done.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, if you have a Shalai out and the Shalai doesn't die immediately, you're in pretty good shape. And this is Modern, where 4-mana cards are bad.
Yep. So this was one of them. I'll talk about another one real quick because I have it. I think I have Zach's saved.
I think you have like, what is it, 15 pages of
8. I just saw it.
You will have 15 pages eventually. Oh no.
Oh, we're gonna talk about yours.
Oh.
Sorry, Tyrell. I said Tyrell fucked me. No, Josh fucked me. I said to Josh, hey, give me 2 cards. Josh goes, I want you to play Cloud Key and Voltaic Key in Modern. So my immediate thought was, what the hell do I untap with Voltaic Key to make it not suck? I made a deck called Keys for Keys, and it's just mere tribal with Karn the Great Creator and Mass Hysteria to make infinite mana somehow, and eventually grab a Walking Ballista with Karn. And maybe if we're lucky, we just punch him to death with a mirror.
Yeah, also, two Mirror Galvanizers and a Palladium Mirror is also infinite mana.
I know.
But that, like... This is also one where the 3-drop slot, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh my god. But the fact that you
we got a Cloud Key.
Yeah, but
this is your fault.
Honestly, the Cloud Key should probably be Semblance Anvil.
No shit. This is your fault.
Strictly worse Semblance Anvil. I thought it was funny. It was strictly worse Semblance Anvil. It was just really funny to think about that way.
And to wrap us out, I'll talk about the best one that I was given.
I mean, yeah.
Zach messaged me and he goes, I want you to play Vanishment and Everdream.
You may have to explain what those cards are.
Vanishment, 4 and a blue. For an instant, put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. It has Miracle for 1 blue.
Yep.
And Everdream has 1 and a blue, draw a card. Splice onto an instant or sorcery for 2 and a blue. So it's not bad. Like, I can add the effect of it to anything. For 5 mana, I can Growth Spiral and draw 2 cards.
I think that'd be fine in Standard.
It would be, but it's not Modern.
Oh my god, yeah.
So, the point of this whole challenge is to get terrible cards and build cool decks with them, because, like, they're underappreciated. So I made Simic Taking Turns, with 2 Snapcasters, 2 Nissa Steward of the Elements, 2 Jason the Mind Sculptor, 2 Tameo Collector of Tales, 4 Everdream because I had to, 4 Growth Spiral, 3 Cryptic Command, 2 Devastation Tide, 4 Vanishment, 2 Nexus of Fate, 4 Temporal Mastery, 2 Search for Azcanta, and 4 Wilderness Reclamation.
And 23 lands.
Yeah.
I honestly am looking at this list and I'm like, oh my god, you have 5 enters the battlefield tap lands in Modern.
Yep.
And I'm like, I am so sorry.
Real talk, I had to.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing about a deck like this, like, you cannot play too many fetch lands.
Yep.
Like, you're playing 4, and I feel like that's probably correct. Or you like I could see taking out the temple for a couple other tapping out maybe a Lumbering Falls and a temple for 2 more fetch lands.
I mean, I'd keep 2 Lumbering Falls. I'd take out temples before that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, Lumbering Falls is also a clock.
That's why it's there.
Yeah, it's a hexproof clock.
To be fair, I've given them some buttes, but like the one I gave out to Zach was just like me wanting him to do something with Ephemerate and Spellqueller.
I mean, yeah, you just play. You. I feel like you can just cheat and play Teferi, 3-mana Teferi, and believe me, we're gonna get to 3-mana Teferi eventually, maybe after rotation, because God, that card is oppressive in every format that it's in almost.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll get to that at some other point, I guess.
Yeah, so if you guys enjoyed, please let us know down in the comments below. Like it, subscribe. Maybe we'll actually put out some Magic content on this YouTube channel, and we'll be good to go.
Criticism is always welcome. Also, follow the blog. The blog keeps growing. And
however, if your criticism is too negative and you're wrong, we'll tell you you're wrong and ignore you.
True, yeah.
Because that's just how I live my life. Negativity don't have a place.
Be constructive. Yes, we really...
We're from the Jeff Hoagland School of Thought. If you're not constructive and you're not an adult to tell us things to constructively, get out.
there is an underline on constructive on the criticism for a reason.
But yeah, thank you all for listening, and have a great rest of your week.